The ring on your finger has a certificate. It says the diamond is clean, conflict-free, ethically sourced. The certificate is real. The organization that issued it is real. It was created by the United Nations, supported by 82 governments, praised by the diamond industry as the gold standard for ethical trade. And in October 2008, while that system was fully operational, soldiers in military helicopters flew over a diamond field in Zimbabwe. They opened fire, not on rebels, not on armed groups, on miners, men, women, and children who were digging in the ground. 214 of them died in 3 weeks. The soldiers made the survivors dig the mass graves. 2 years later, the diamonds from that field received a clean certificate. They entered the market. Someone bought one. Maybe on an anniversary. Maybe for a wedding. December 5, 2011. A woman named Charmian Gooch walked out of an international meeting. She had spent 11 years helping build the system designed to stop exactly what had happened in Zimbabwe. She helped found it. And now she was leaving it. Her statement read, "The scheme has become an accomplice to diamond laundering, whereby dirty diamonds are mixed in with clean gems." Gooch was one of the founding directors of Global Witness, the investigative organization whose research had made the Kimberley process possible in the first place. The system she helped create had certified the massacre 3 years earlier, October 27, 2008, Marange district, eastern Zimbabwe. Approximately 35,000 people were working in the diamond fields that morning. Some were experienced miners, most were not. They were unemployed men, women from nearby villages, teenagers. They had heard that diamonds were simply lying in the ground here, the richest deposit ever discovered. They were right. And then the helicopters came. The operation had a name, Operation Hakudzokwe. In Shona, the local language, it means, "You shall not return." More than 800 soldiers from 3 army units moved into Marange that morning. The Air Force of Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe National Army, and agents from the Central Intelligence Organization, the state security service whose members were already accused of political violence against opposition supporters. The helicopters flew low over the fields and began firing. Live ammunition, tear gas, no warning. In the panic, miners ran toward the hills. Some ran toward tunnels they had dug. Some of those tunnels collapsed. The people inside them did not come out. One miner who survived described what he saw from a hillside. Soldiers and helicopters were firing at people who were running. I could see people falling. Between November 1st and November 12th, just 12 days, 107 bodies were delivered to Mutare Provincial Hospital. The morgue ran out of space. Hospital staff told Human Rights Watch that army trucks continued arriving with more bodies. The hospital turned them away. The trucks carrying uncounted dead turned around. Where those bodies went is not known. By November 16th, 3 weeks after the operation began, at least 214 miners had been killed. Human Rights Watch documented this through more than 100 interviews with survivors, medical staff, soldiers who spoke anonymously, local police, and community leaders. The soldiers then did something that no official document of the Zimbabwean government has ever acknowledged. They ordered the surviving miners to dig graves for the dead. One man told Human Rights Watch he traveled to a hospital after being told his brother's body had been taken there. "I had difficulty identifying my brother's body," he said, "because he was in a pile of bodies heaped on the floor of the mortuary. He identified him, he buried him. The soldiers went back to work. Not policing, mining. The army had not come to Marange to stop illegal mining. It had come to take over. Within weeks of the massacre, the army had established full control over Marange. They divided the field into zones. Each zone was assigned to a military unit. Each unit formed syndicates with civilian miners, miners who now worked not for themselves, but for the soldiers. A woman who was forced into this system told Human Rights Watch, "We worked together with about 30 children, ages between 10 and 17. The children worked the same 11 hours each day as adults. Soldiers beat those who worked too slowly. They were given no food, no water, no breaks. The diamonds they extracted were sold, often smuggled directly to Mozambique and South Africa, and the money flowed upward, to senior officers, to ZANU-PF officials, to the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, which used the funds to underwrite military operations. And the international community watched. The Kimberley Process, the system created specifically to stop this, sent a monitoring team to Marange in August 2010. The team was, according to Human Rights Watch, routinely obstructed by government officials and unable to gather crucial information. They filed their report anyway, and the KP made its decision. The diamonds from Marange, the field where 214 people had been shot, beaten, and buried by the army, were not conflict diamonds. Because the Kimberley Process defines a conflict diamond as one used by rebel movements to undermine legitimate governments. The Zimbabwe National Army was not a rebel movement. It was the legitimate government. So the diamonds were clean. In July 2010, the KP authorized Zimbabwe to export Marange diamonds to the world market. Within 2 years, Zimbabwe had become the 7th largest diamond producer on Earth. The year of the massacre, Marange produced 8.2 million carats. By 2012, it produced 16.9 million carats. The certificate said, conflict-free. Here is what the film Blood Diamond, the 2006 Leonardo DiCaprio movie, got wrong. Not the violence, not the corruption, not the child soldiers. It got the timeline wrong. The film set its story in Sierra Leone in the 1990s, before the Kimberley Process existed. The clear implication, the Blood Diamond era, ended. The system worked. The message people left cinemas with, this was the past. The massacre at Marange happened 2 years after the movie came out, under the full supervision of the Kimberley Process, with the complete knowledge of its 82 member states. And those diamonds, from that massacre, are not from the past. They are in circulation right now. The KP's own definition ensures they can never be called conflict diamonds, because the people who ordered the killing were not rebels. They were the government. In 2011, when Global Witness resigned from the Kimberley Process, their statement named 3 specific failures: Ivory Coast, Venezuela, and Zimbabwe. For Zimbabwe, they wrote, newspapers have reported that the Zimbabwean Central Intelligence Organization, the state security service whose members are accused of committing acts of violence, directly benefits from off-budget diamond revenues. The money from the field where children carried ore for 11 hours a day was going to the secret police, and the KP had certified it as ethical. There is a second loophole, one that is even larger: Russia. Since February 2022, Russia has been selling diamonds on the international market to fund the war in Ukraine. The Kimberley Process covers rebel groups. The Russian state is not a rebel group. At the KP plenary in Dubai in November 2025, African diamond producers backed a proposal to expand the definition of conflict diamonds to include state-sponsored violence. Western nations blocked the reform. The president of the World Diamond Council responded, progress was killed in pursuit of the impossible. Some signaled that the lives of diamond miners in Africa are not as valuable as lives elsewhere. In 2016, former President Robert Mugabe appeared on Zimbabwe's state broadcaster. He made a confession. He said that more than $15 billion worth of diamonds had been stolen from Marange. Not by illegal miners, by the companies, by the officials, by the system his government had built. $15 billion. The total external debt of Zimbabwe at that time was $11 billion. The country that massacred its own miners to take control of the field, then watched $15 billion disappear from it, has held no commission of inquiry. No one has been charged. No family of the dead has received compensation. The field is still operational. The diamonds are still being sold. In Angola, certified by the Kimberley Process since 2003, a journalist named Rafael Marques de Moraes spent years documenting what continued to happen inside the certified mines. He documented more than 500 cases of torture, more than 100 killings, carried out over 18 months, by the Angolan army and private security firms working inside KP-certified fields. He published his findings in a book. He was given a jail sentence. The Kimberley Process claims to certify 99.8% of the world's rough diamonds as conflict-free. It is, in the strictest technical sense of its own definition, correct. The diamonds are not being used by rebel movements. They are being used by governments, by state militaries, by intelligence agencies, by ruling parties that have discovered that a diamond field is more valuable than an election. A woman named Dorcas Chiadzwa, named after the village in Marange, was interviewed by reporters in 2016. She had lived there when the field was discovered. She had stayed through the massacre, through the forced labor, through the mining companies and the army and the disappearing billions. She said, "These diamonds are a problem. We are not benefiting anything. Instead, the diamonds have brought untold suffering to us." She was still there. The mining continued around her. In every jewelry store that sells certified conflict-free diamonds, the certificate is real, the process is real, the system is real, and the definition at the center of that system, the one that decides what is clean and what is not, was written to stop a war that ended in 2002. It was not written for what came after. The body of the man whose brother couldn't be identified among the pile on the hospital floor, that man was asked years later whether he still thought about Marange. He said he thought about it every day. He was asked if he still lived there. He said yes. He said the diamonds were still being mined. He said he could hear the machines from his house. The Kimberley Process certificate on a diamond says one thing. It says the seller guarantees, based on personal knowledge or written guarantees provided by the supplier, that this diamond is conflict-free. Personal knowledge, or written guarantees, from the supplier.